Ladies and gentlemen, gather round. Let's take a moment to appreciate the masterpiece that's unfolding right before our eyes. You see, they thought they could dish out all that pain and walk away without a scratch, didn't they? Oh, they painted themselves as untouchable. The ones with all the power, the ones who could shatter someone else's spirit and still sleep soundly at night. But life, life has a way of balancing the scales, doesn't it? You might call it karma, I call it a perfectly timed encore. And now they're left holding the very weight they thought they could unload onto you, and it's too much for them to bear. They're crumbling under the same heaviness they placed on your shoulders. Funny, isn't it? They had no idea that the pain they'd handed you like some twisted gift would come full circle. They never expected that their actions would haunt them, whispering back in the quiet corners of their minds. They laughed at your struggles, turned away from your tears, dismissed your cries as weakness. And now they're the ones choking on that bitter taste, the ones whose hearts ache with an unbearable weight. It's poetic, really a little taste of what they served you. But for them, it's a tragedy for you. It's justice. You remember those nights, don't you? Those endless, agonizing nights when sleep felt like a distant dream, and their cruel words replayed in your head over and over. They left you feeling as if you were the problem, as if their actions were somehow your fault. And here they are, tangled in that same web they spun for you. Only now there's no one to catch them when they fall, no one to soothe their wounds. They're getting a first-hand look at the very hell they tried to create for you. It's almost laughable, the way they scramble now, trying to find comfort, trying to outrun the shadows they cast on your life. Oh, they thought they could just sweep it all under the rug, pretend none of it happened. But the pain they dished out, it doesn't just disappear. It lingers, it festers, and then when they least expect it, it shows up at their doorstep, begging for attention. And now they're forced to look it straight in the eyes, face to face with the monster they created. They're starting to understand, bit by bit, what they put you through. The empty words, the sharp criticisms, the disregard for your feelings, it's all flashing before their eyes like some cruel, taunting movie reel. Only now, they're the main character in this horror show. Every ounce of hurt they threw your way has become their burden to bear. And oh, how heavy it is. They're stumbling under it, feeling every jab, every cut they once aimed at you. And there's no escape from it, no distraction strong enough to numb the sting. Do they regret it now, I wonder? Or are they too stubborn to admit it? They probably won't say it out loud, not yet. They'll try to put on a brave face, pretend it doesn't bother them. But you and I, we both know the truth. We can see the cracks, the way their once strong facade has started to crumble. They might hide it from the world, but deep down they're feeling every ounce of what they inflicted on you. The irony, of course, is that they're facing it all alone, just as they left you to face your pain. They'll tell themselves it's just a rough patch, that they can get through it without changing a thing. They'll clutch to their pride like a lifeline, refusing to admit they played any part in this suffering. But every time they try to walk away from the hurt, it'll follow them like a shadow, a ghost of all the pain they planted in your heart. There's no running from it, no hiding. They'll have to sit in it, feel every sharp edge of the pain they once handed out so freely. And in that silence, when there's no one left to blame, no one to lean on, they'll begin to understand the depth of their actions. They'll see how easy it was for them to tear you down, to leave you stranded in the darkness they created. And maybe, just maybe, they'll feel a pang of regret, a flicker of understanding that they were wrong. But by then, you'll be long gone, too far for them to reach, too strong to care. Oh, they'll call it unfair, say life's dealt them a bad hand. But life, my friends, doesn't play favorites. It simply returns what's given. And they gave cruelty, they sowed pain. They nurtured a field of bitterness. Now, they're reaping every bit of it, and it's far too much for them to handle. They thought they were invincible, untouchable, but the universe has a funny way of proving otherwise. They'll find themselves surrounded by emptiness, trying to fill the void they once left in you. They'll reach out, hoping for comfort, for understanding, but all they'll get in return is silence, indifference, just as they once gave you. And in that emptiness, they'll realize what it's like to feel abandoned, to feel as though no one cares. The tables have turned, and now they're the ones left out in the cold, searching for warmth that isn't there. And as the days go by, the weight will only grow heavier, pressing down on them like a stone. They'll start to feel small, insignificant, just as they made you feel. They'll look around, hoping for someone to lift the burden, to lighten the load. But no one will be there to ease the pain they once inflicted. They'll feel every bit of it, and it'll bring them to their knees. And maybe, in that moment, they'll finally understand what they put you through. Their confidence, their pride, it'll all fade away, leaving behind a hollow shell of the person they once thought they were. They'll see their reflection and barely recognize themselves, haunted by the pain they created. And in that mirror, they'll see you, standing tall, unbroken. They'll realize that you survived what they couldn't bear, that you were stronger than they ever gave you credit for. And that realization, it'll cut deeper than any word ever could. But here's the beautiful part. While they're caught in their own nightmare, you're free. Free from the pain, the doubt, the fear they tried to plant in your heart. You walked away, stronger, wiser, and they're left clinging to the pieces of a life they once thought they controlled. They're trapped in a cage of their own making, and the key is nowhere to be found. They thought they could move on, but your memory will linger, a reminder of what they lost, of the person they tried to break but couldn't. Every smile you wear, every step you take, will be a reminder of the strength they underestimated. And while they're haunted by regret, you're living a life they'll never have, a life filled with peace, strength, and the freedom they never knew how to give. They'll try to erase the memories, try to drown them out in distractions, laughter, or empty promises to themselves that they've changed. But deep down, no amount of diversion will wash away the ache of your absence, the quiet echo of all they did to push you away. They'll tell themselves that they're fine, that they don't need you. Yet every time they're alone, every time they close their eyes, there you'll be. You, with your strength, your kindness, your unwavering ability to walk away when they thought they had you tethered to their games. The echoes will get louder, and there's no way for them to turn the volume down. They'll look for you in others, thinking they can find some solace or validation. But each time they'll come up short, finding only hollow replacements for the person they pushed away. You were one of a kind, a presence that cannot be mimicked, no matter how hard they search. And in that gap, in that aching space left by you, they'll feel the full weight of their choices, of every misstep, every hurtful word. It'll gnaw at them, slowly, inescapably, until they can't deny it any longer they lost you. And it was all their own doing. You see, they underestimated you. They thought your kindness was a weakness, that your patience was a sign of surrender. But they didn't realize that you were simply giving them a chance, a gift to be better, to rise above their games. And now, as they reflect on everything that's happened, they'll understand what they missed, what they threw away. The regret will creep in, settling like a cold shadow they can't shake, one that clings tighter with each passing day. In time, they might try to reach out, to apologize, hoping for redemption. But you've grown past that place, beyond the need for their validation or remorse. You've moved forward, found peace, while they're left wrestling with the choices that haunt them. And no apology, no words can undo the damage they caused. They'll realize this too, eventually, and the reality will sting sharper than they ever imagined. They'll see that, while they were trying to bring you down, you were growing, blossoming into someone they'll only ever see from afar. So let them sit with that. Let them face the consequences of their actions, knowing they lost something they'll never find again. Let them live with the silence you've left behind, the silence that speaks louder than any words could. It's a silence filled with resilience, with strength, a reminder of the person they underestimated. And that silence will be the loudest message of all, one that haunts them every day, reminding them of what they had and what they'll never get back. Ladies and gentlemen, they thought you were just another chapter in their book, didn't they? Another name to scribble on the pages of their life story, a footnote to be forgotten. But what they failed to see was that you were not a chapter, you were the turning point. God placed you there not to fit into their narrative, but to rewrite it entirely. And oh, how the pen of fate wrote in bold letters when you walked away. You were never meant to stay, you were meant to shake the ground beneath their feet. You were a storm sent to clear the air, to uproot their illusions, to force them to see the truth they so desperately wanted to avoid. God doesn't send chosen ones to comfort, He sends them to challenge. And that's exactly what you did. They didn't understand the weight of your presence, the divine purpose behind your love, your patience, your sacrifices. They thought you were like everyone else. But God doesn't craft chosen ones with ordinary hands. You were shaped by trials, by fire, by resilience. You were the lesson they didn't know they needed, but now can't escape. Your kindness was a mirror, reflecting all the cracks in their soul. Your love was a test, one they failed spectacularly. And now, as they sit with their regrets, they're beginning to see the truth you were never theirs to keep. You were a messenger, a catalyst, a divine reckoning. Every word you spoke, every act of kindness, every moment of patience, it was all a part of the lesson. You were there to show them what love could be, what grace could feel like, what a real connection looked like. But they mistook your purpose. They thought you were there to stay and endure their indifference, their selfishness, their disrespect. They see it now, though. Oh, they see it with such clarity it burns. They see how their actions were a test of their character and how miserably they failed. They see that your leading wasn't just a choice, it was the inevitable conclusion of their choices. God sent you as a light, but they chose the shadows. You extended your hand, but they slapped it away. You gave them love, but they responded with complacency. And so the lesson was set in motion, for God doesn't waste His chosen ones on unworthy hearts. He sends them to teach, to awaken, and then to leave. And now they're left to wrestle with the aftermath of your absence. The emptiness they feel isn't just about losing you, it's about losing the chance to grow, to change, to be better. Because in losing you, they lost a part of themselves they didn't even know they needed. They'll sit in the quiet moments, haunted by the memories of what they had and what they lost. Your laughter will echo in their minds, your touch will linger on their skin, your words will replay in their thoughts. And they'll realize, too late, that you were not just a person, you were a divine intervention. You were sent to them to break their patterns, to disrupt their comfort, to force them to face themselves. But instead of rising to the occasion, they clung to their old ways, their ego, their fears. And so you left as you were always meant to. Their regret will be their prison. The bars made of what-ifs, and if-onlys. They'll think back to the moments they could have chosen differently, the times they could have treated you better, appreciated you more. But regret is a teacher that comes too late. As the days turn into weeks, and the weeks into months, they'll start to see the ripple effects of your presence. They'll notice how their relationships feel hollow, how their life feels stagnant, how their soul feels restless. Because you didn't just touch their life, you changed its course. And while they're drowning in their regret, you'll be thriving. Because God doesn't just place chosen ones in the lives of others, He also lifts them up when their purpose is fulfilled. Your blessings are waiting, your reward is coming, your joy is assured. They'll watch from afar, unable to reach you, unable to touch you, unable to undo the damage they caused. And it will eat at them day by day as they realize the magnitude of what they lost. But here's the beauty of it all: you don't need their acknowledgement, their apologies, their validation. Your worth isn't tied to their recognition. You know who you are, you know your purpose, and you know that leaving was not just an act of self-preservation, it was an act of divine obedience. They'll try to find someone like you, but they'll fail. Because God doesn't duplicate his chosen ones. You were unique, a once-in-a-lifetime presence, a lesson wrapped in love, a challenge disguised as a gift. Their regret will settle into their bones like the chill of a winter night, unshakable and relentless. They'll carry it everywhere they go, a silent reminder of what they had and carelessly let slip through their fingers. It won't be a fleeting ache, no, it'll be a deep, gnawing void that time cannot fill. Because you weren't just anyone, you were sent, chosen, destined to be their wake-up call. And oh, how they pressed snooze. In their moments of solitude, when the world quiets and distractions fade, your face will surface in their mind. It will be in the stillness of midnight or the glow of dawn when the weight of their choices hits hardest. They'll recall your patience, your kindness, your unwavering love, and they'll ask themselves why they couldn't rise to meet it. But the answer will always be the same: they weren't ready for someone like you. The irony is sharp, isn't it? They thought they were in control, that their actions were harmless, that their choices wouldn't have consequences. But the divine doesn't work that way. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night, every moment of pain, it was all recorded. And now, the scales are balancing. God doesn't let his chosen ones suffer in vain. They'll look for you in everyone they meet, trying to recreate the connection they took for granted. But every smile, every laugh, every touch will fall short. Because you weren't just a person, you were an experience, a once-in-a-lifetime event. They didn't just lose you, they lost the best version of themselves that they could have been with you. As the seasons change and the years pass, their regret will age like wine, growing more potent, more bitter. It will remind them in 1,000 small ways, the way a certain song plays, the way someone laughs, the way the light hits their window, just so. You'll haunt their senses, a ghost they cannot escape. They'll try to distract themselves, to bury the regret under layers of work, relationships, and noise. But distraction is temporary and their guilt is permanent. No matter how fast they run, they'll never be able to outrun the truth: they failed you. They failed themselves. And while they're stuck in their cycle of self-recrimination, you'll be soaring. God's chosen ones are never forgotten, never overlooked, never abandoned. Your trials were the forge, and you came out stronger, brighter, and more resilient. They'll see your glow from afar and feel the sting of knowing they could have been a part of it. Their pride will keep them silent, their ego a barrier between their guilt and your forgiveness. They'll want to reach out to say the words they should have said long ago, but their humiliation will choke them. Instead, they'll watch you thrive, silently wishing they had chosen differently. And as they sit with their regret, you'll step into your blessings. The love you gave will come back to you 100-fold. The patience you showed will be rewarded. The sacrifices you made will be honored. God's chosen ones are never left empty-handed. You'll become a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, an example of what it means to rise above. Your story will inspire others, your strength will uplift them, and your light will guide them. You were never meant to be hidden, you were meant to shine. Meanwhile, their world will feel smaller, darker, colder. The joy they once took for granted will soon out of reach. The peace they dismissed will feel unattainable. Because they had you, the chosen one, and they squandered it. That kind of loss leaves scars. They'll replay the moments they could have done differently, the times they could have chosen love over fear, effort over apathy, respect over ego. But those moments are gone now, lost in the tide of time. And all they're left with is the realization that they can't go back. The regret will be their teacher, harsh and unyielding. Every mistake they made with you will become a lesson etched into their soul. They'll carry it with them, a constant reminder of what happens when you take a blessing for granted.